Hey everybody, JJ here, back with a Saturday episode of Zoom Networking. Today's guest speaker is an absolutely amazing young man. Um, I had the pleasure recently to go to a networking event in Las Vegas that was hosted by Cody Sperber and Cole Hatter. And on stage of thousands, in front of thousands of people, they brought this young man up whose story was so impressive. I had to bring him onto the call. I literally had to fight through 24 people to get to this guy. I'd like to introduce my good friend Conrado Bautista. Conrado, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Yeah. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Man, it is so good to have you here. Um, you've been to Vegas before, huh? Was that your
Yeah,
first time?
a couple of times, real estate events
So,
mostly.
I'm just glad to have you here today, and we just want to talk about your story. You're amazing. You're a real estate investor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a businessman. You're a family man. You're a father, a husband. Um, and you're doing all this in one of the most difficult markets in the country.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure to be here and share a little bit of what I have done, what I have accomplished, and yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your background. Let's. Where are you from? Were you born in the United States? Were you not? When did you get here? Can you touch on that a little bit?
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna start from the bottom. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny, my journey because I remember, I lost my mom, and I think I mentioned this to you when I was 1 year old. I grew up with my dad. And then he passed away when I was 10 years old. But I always been working since, I want to say, since I was a kid, from 5, 6 years old. I remember I used to sell, candies and all kind of stuff. So I've never been scared of, selling stuff. And then I moved to United States when I was 14 years old. Like I say, I didn't know the language. And then, I started going to school and then starting part-time job. And somehow I got involved in construction. And I was, just a little kid, with big dreams. I remember I used, dream about, just buying a house and be able to, buy cars and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I just felt, a good passion for construction. I remember, it was in San Francisco where, where it all started. Been doing a lot of new developments, big buildings. And I just remember, I used to work for, a lot of Irish guys, and I remember, they used to pull up on, big trucks, writing big checks and all that. And I just said to me, one day I'm like, one day I'm gonna do that. How can I'm gonna do that for myself? And yeah, I want to say it only took, it took me like 10 years to accomplish a lot of that stuff. When I was able to buy my first house, yeah, get my real estate contractor license, started contracting. I used to do a lot of big, the big buildings too with the union. And then I started doing projects for developers. And that's how kind of like, when it clicks a little, and I was like, because I remember, I look at the number, like how much this guy bought, but all pay for the houses, the rehab and how much money they made. And I was like, I want to do that for myself someday. So I started saving, a lot of money. And I don't know how I did it, but, I saved up a million, I had a million cash in my pocket.
Wow.
Which is, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. Well, I guess it is because, just from working, that takes a lot of years to save. But I didn't party, I didn't waste any money. I was just like working, saving, working, saving, working, saving. Um, and I bought the first house, and then 6 months later, we bought a duplex, and then 2 years later, I kind of quitted contracting. I said I was gonna go all in and investing. So I bought the first house all cash. I didn't use banks or anything like that. Um, and we did good. We made little money, and then I made a mistake. Then after that, I made a mistake. I bought a house in San Francisco, and then I partnered with the wrong guy, where I lost almost half a million.
Let's talk about your venture into real estate. You started at 14 and you started seeing a bunch of investors that were pulling up in fancy cars. Uh, you were what, in your early 20s at this time or something?
Uh, yeah, I was 20, yeah, about 20, 18, 20, I believe.
And so your first step was becoming a contractor, is that correct?
Yes.
And was that so you were working all kind of thing? Was it commercial, multifamily? Was it everything?
Yeah, I was everything, yeah, residential and commercial.
Now, are you still a contractor today?
Well, I still have my license. I don't really contract, just do my own projects. But I think we're gonna start because there's a lot of people that come and ask me to do their projects, and I always say no. But I think I'm gonna start contracting again here in the Bay.
So now, does that make it easier on you as an investor having the contractor's license?
Um,
Well, let me ask it this way: to become a contractor, you have to acquire some amount of knowledge. You have some understanding of some basic things. So that additional knowledge probably helps you as an investor. Is that correct?
yeah, oh yeah, definitely helps me a lot because I know how much thing costs. I get like a good price because if somebody comes and if they don't know that I'm a contractor, they will always try to send me these higher prices, higher bids, but I know how much thing costs. Plus, not only the price, I know all the stuff, all the requirements, because there are a lot of people that work right now unlicensed, or they work under somebody else's license, and I know what to ask, like make sure they got their license, insurance, bond, and all this kind of stuff, because like there's good people, bad people out there. Because I always, I used to, when I was contracting, I used to come and, finish some unfinished projects because of the contractor, they just run away with the money. So me being, that I was a contractor, I tried to navigate some of that stuff where, I don't think, I mean, people have took advantage, but I think it's been very minimum compared to a consumer.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I'm sure that's a wealth of that. That knowledge is always beneficial. I might want to get my contractor license myself. Um, so starting as a contractor in your in the construction field in your early 20s, and how old were you when you became a contractor?
I was 24.
That's a good age. That's young. So then that leads to my next question is having become a contractor 24, how long before you really decided you wanted to become an investor? Because that's just about 10 years ago.
So it's 24. So yeah, I think I was about 27. Uh, yeah, because I was like 4 years, doing contracting like heavily, and then 4 years later, yeah, I decided I was gonna, just do my own project.
Now, what was your path with your own projects? I mean, did you study it all? And there's a number of education groups out there. Or did you just start buying? Did someone tell you what to buy or introduce you to a wholesaler? Or how was that transition for you becoming an investor out of becoming a contractor?
Like I said, I had the money. I thought it was, like all we need is money, right, to become an investor. But no, it's more than that. Because like I say, we bought our own first house. We did good, and then we partnered with the wrong guy because I didn't know. I didn't have the knowledge, and that's how that was painful. I had to go through a lot of mental stuff. Recovered. Not only the money and gain that confidence, and that's how I got connected with Cody because I was like somehow it clicked in my brain that I needed to get education. So I joined his coaching program, I think like 3 years ago. um because, well, I did a couple houses, and then I decided to join his, and Carlos Reyes and Cole Hatter. So since then, yeah, I've been getting a lot of education, a couple of his mastermind, and yeah, just like what you guys were talking about in the early in the call. Yeah, that it's about relationships and acquiring the knowledge, because how you need to know how to buy and how to rehab it. They teach a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. Even now, I've done more than 20 projects, and I'm still learning.
When you talk about relationships, that's huge, obviously. Um, when you were making the transition from contractor to investor, and you've mentioned Cole Hatter. Cole's wonderful. We all know Cole. If you don't, look him up, Cole Hatter, um, YouTube and everywhere else. Was there anyone that stepped in that kind of maybe mentored you or led you along, or someone you could ask questions of? Did he have anybody to kind of make that journey, provide a little bit more direction, or how did that, maybe before you came to Cole Hatter, or is it once you met Cole that you really started to get the assistance or direction that you were looking for?
No, yeah, I didn't have anybody. It was until I met Cody's that I got the coaching, the one-on-one, coaching. But so that's one. And then the other thing is, like, I had to take action because I was against the wall and I didn't have other choices. I was like, I was gonna go all in. Um, you know, I didn't have any other choice. I was, because I didn't want it to go back and, become do contracting again, because I know that already. I wanted to do, something else. I wanted to adventure. And I remember, I told my wife that, that I was gonna do this real estate no matter what. And I guess I remember, Carlos Reyes saying once that, there's a history, I forgot the name of it, but it's about, burning your ships, that, there's no way out, whether, either you do it or you don't. And I was, like I say, I was against the wall and I said, this is it, I'm gonna do it. Um, I went in the trenches and it's been a roller coaster. When I say it's not easy, it hasn't been easy. We had a good last year and the year before because the market, was going up. We were selling houses like pancakes, like hamburgers. I remember, picking up these little ones, and turn them around like 2 3 months and making good money. Those days are over right now. I just sold one. I just closed, I think it was last year. Last week. And we lost about 50K on it. It's not bad because we had anticipated, because we knew the market, was going up, we just didn't know how much longer it was gonna stay. But we made good money, right? So 50K, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. And we were prepared for it. But we have other projects right now where I think we're gonna be closing one next week where I'm gonna make 150. And it's not always about winning. It's about, winning and learning.
Yeah, no, that's great. So let me ask you, now that you've gotten into investment, you've been doing this about what, 3 4 years now? 4 years, you said?
4 years full time.
Now, are you only investing locally in the Bay Area, or are you out of state as well?
Mostly in the Bay Area, just because, I like to see, my projects. And because of all the stuff that I have, gone through, it's hard to, I don't know, I just like to do stuff in my backyard for now.
That makes sense. You want to have boots on the ground. You can be there to see everything. That makes perfect sense. We'll get back to the market you're in, the Bay Area. Man, that's a tough market.
Yeah, it is super competitive.
Done about 20 projects in 4 years now, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, well, but mostly in the last 2 years, we've been heavily, because I was doing like 1 2 at a time, and in the last year, we were doing 5 projects, 10 projects at the same time, and that's why I like to do it on my, like I say, locally, because I'm moving, I'm shifting different people all the time. Like, for example, today, I have a project where, the stucco guys were gonna, finish, and I got a call this morning, they don't show up, right? So now I start thinking like, okay, so Monday, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have them, or I'm gonna hire new guys, because I've been hiring and firing all the time, and that's why I say, it's not easy. It's good, but it's because you have to deal with a lot of people, especially when you have a lot of projects.
Now, what is your most desired kind of property? Is it single family, multifamily, commercial? all the above? What is the thing that gets Conrado excited every morning?
Single
Besides
family,
besides
I
Mrs.
just
Batista.
yeah, well, single family, I think that's my passion. I love building, and now we're entering, kind of get more into brand new developments. That's where we're heading.
So are you looking at doing new builds as well?
Yes, yeah, bigger
Wow.
projects.
So what is in store for you in the future? I mean, do you want to just continue to do your area, or are you looking to maybe get into syndications or do bigger projects or go out of state, or have you thought about what's down the line, or right now you're just gonna kind of manage the ship the way it is?
Well, so yeah, we're trying. Yeah, so we're gonna continue on doing flips here in the Bay to get that cash and then deploy it into multifamily. Yeah, that's where we're heading.
Well, that's great. That's great. Um, I want to, the group is about, my group's about networking. It's a networking group, and we talk about, relationships frequently. But, what advice might you have for not only the new real estate investor, but maybe someone's been in the game a while and hasn't quite clicked in the way you have? What are some of your suggestions or recommendations about maybe networking or the importance of networking and building your business? Is it something that what's your take on that?
Yeah, I was listening to the conversation early, and I think, like I think one guy said, it's all about taking action, right? Because, like I say, you have to take action. Whether, if you're gonna go and meet somebody, you have to, with intent. Like, okay, you're gonna meet somebody, and then what? What are you gonna ask him? Because I'm just like you, right? I get called all the time. People want to talk to me, want to meet me, but and then they show up and they got no plans. Like, yeah, what do you want to talk about? So yeah, if we're gonna network, we have to network with intent. If we're gonna whatever we're gonna do, if it's gonna be wholesaling or flipping, we have to take action. And I think what separate us from a lot of this, like people don't want to take action because they don't want to lose. Like who wants to lose, right? Um, but I want to say probably 90%. Most of the time is lose. You have to lose a lot of time to perfect. And over time, you're just gonna be a master. Yeah, you have to master. And that's why you have to focus on one thing, because like new investor, right? They wanna do wholesaling, they wanna flip, they wanna be do Airbnb, they wanna do all kind of stuff. But no, you have to focus on one thing first, dominate it, and then jump onto the next one. And it's funny because when you said, and you're so right, how when Cole and Cody brought me on stage, and the reason that happened is because I got that in my mind. We're in probably like 150 in the group. And out of those 150, there are only like five of us making things happening. And out of those five, I'm the only one who's crushing it in a way that I'm doing like a lot of projects. And I mean, why am I different than 150, than different than 10 people? Is because I had to make that decision and I decided to do it, no matter what. I prepare myself. I remember, just sitting on the corner and thinking about, what could happen if I lose everything? What will happen, if things go wrong? And it's just like, well, you have to start all over again. And just, being on Cody's and calls every week, I decided, that I was gonna do it in a step up to be noticeable, because otherwise, I'm just, I'm sideline. Nobody wouldn't know Conrado, right? And I just started, doing all these projects, recording everything, showing all the videos and the calls and Facebook, and then suddenly I'm known. um, and doing transaction, because it's not just like I'm just recording myself on every single project. And no, so I'm recording what I'm doing, and also I'm recording the transactions, so that to make to show that I'm real. I'm not just recording every somebody else project. And also, I invited a couple of students from Clever to witness, what I've been doing in the Bay Area. And that's how they brought me on stage. And now, Carlos Reyes knows me and a lot of these guys, Jamil, because my name, it's up there.
Yeah. Your name is definitely out there.
But that's what I say, I had to take action and yeah, just, let the fear, because I think, what's holding us back most of the time is the fear, fear of what people gonna say, if we fail, what people gonna think, you know, if we fail, we kind of look stupid. But we have to be crazy at some, to a certain level to do what we're doing because this is not easy. Um, and not everyone wants to do it because, a lot of people want the money, but they don't want to sacrifice. Like, I work every day. I get up early, I do a lot of stuff. I know I have to sacrifice my kids. I have to sacrifice my marriage for right now. But, but as of right now, money is not an issue. I can provide for my family and for my, sisters and brothers when they're in need.
That's
So
huge.
that's what I can say, just don't be afraid of failing. You cannot fail no matter what. Just
That's
prepare. Just
excellent.
prepare because, it's gonna happen because, you know, I think, when we try to do something new, we think like, we're just gonna go in, all in, and suddenly everything's gonna be fine. And it doesn't happen. Sometimes might happen, but it's just like right now, like when I was talking right about the market, was appreciating so fast. Like everybody was buying house, selling, and they were making profit. But it's not always like that. But the experienced investor, they know, how to buy it and all that. And it's funny because right now, if we go on the MLS, we can see a lot of unfinished projects. There are a lot of investors, underwater, a lot of new people, new investors losing a ton of money. I went to look at a project yesterday. The project is not even half finished. The guy, they overpay, they overbuild it, they build it on their own place, and they got 4 projects, and they're gonna
Wow.
lose, all of them. I met another investor. He got 20 projects, and he's gonna lose all of them. So, I think we're gonna see a lot of good opportunities. We just have to be patient, and we have to know our numbers. And I want to share a little bit why I lost money on the last deal that I was, say I lost 50K. I lost 50K because of that, because, things were appreciating. I was like, okay, because, when I compared that property first, I knew the ARV was going to be 750, but, I just chanced it. I said, let's see, what happened. It might appreciate for more. And yeah, the market, tangled a little bit and we end up selling for 735. But that's because,
Okay.
I already knew. I knew that, that might happen. But a lot of new people, they just go and think like I got this deal, like a couple of days ago. I look at the ARV. The ARV is only 1.6, and then they're telling me it's 2 million. I'm like, where do you see 2 million? There's no 2 million, and they're stuck at 2 million. And they're like, the market's gonna come up. Yeah, when is it? Do you know? No, I don't know. We make money when we buy, not when we sell. But yeah, but like I say, it's about taking action and networking and meeting the right people because, like I say, there's a lot of good people out there, bad people. Like I say, I partner on one project where I lost, almost 500,000.
Now you had mentioned your family and you help your family out on occasion. Is your wife at all involved in the business? Do you have any family with you in the business? Have you started to grow in that respect?
Yeah, my wife is involved in the business right now. Yeah, we're doing it together.
Okay, but no, I mean you don't no other family doing acquisitions or marketing or anything like that. Just the two of you.
No, it's just my wife right now. We have a couple, yeah, we have a team, yeah, acquisition and other people, but yeah, just family related, only my wife.
That's cool. And obviously, You've been able to provide for your family and travel. You guys came down to Los Angeles recently. What was
Yeah.
your Los Angeles trip like when you came here? Where did you guys go?
Yeah, I went to Disneyland. Usually, yeah. Oh, yeah. So when we went to Disneyland, then we were like 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks in Mexico. Yeah, I was taking some time off.
And very well deserved.
Yeah.
Great, man. No,
So
I think that's great. I'm not sure what else we can cover. Do we have any questions? Anybody have any questions for Conrado? You want to, Jan, you're on with Conrado Bautista. What's your question?
Hi, Kamara. Thank you for all of that encouragement. And this is a wonderful group. I wish I known earlier. My question is, every day I'm searching for homes, doing my numbers that I learned from Homeschool by Tarek. Comes, the ARV minus the rehab. And they're almost selling, even the wholesalers are selling what the ARV should be. And it's just like mind blowing every time. It doesn't add up. And you're like, how can they, call themselves wholesalers and ripping people off like that? And then there is no opportunity, because every time you're not gonna go to something, you're gonna sink in it for your first flip. So in a market today, what would you recommend for someone like us?
well, that is so true. What I can say to that is that you have to look for those deals. Nobody's gonna come and bring those deals to you. You have to do in door knock. You have to do in 10 Miller. You have to call. You have to look for those deals. I used to think about that, about wholesalers, and I think so. What happened is, yeah, there are a lot of new wholesalers like they don't know anything, right? They just get property in the contract, and then they hope that they will find a buyer. And if you want to master wholesaling, you have to build your cash buyer list first. Know exactly what they will buy at what price, what location, zip code, this and that, and then you go and look for those properties. But what happened now is because there's a lot of people that buy in whole, a lot of people that do Airbnb. So that's why you see that in a lot of wholesalers, they're selling their stuff. Is because they got something that somebody wants to buy it. It might not fit your buying criteria, but it might work for somebody else, or it might not work for you, for somebody who's gonna buy and hold it, but they might find a new investor who doesn't know anything and he's willing to pay top dollar. So it's not about the wholesaler. It's about you get a deal presented, you do your number. If it works. If it doesn't work, just say, hey, it doesn't work for me, and let it go. But to find good deals, it's hard because we're all searching and hunting. You got a lot of big sharks, looking at the MLS every day. So, on the MLS, there's hardly any good deals. You have to build a relationship with the real estate agents so that they will bring those deals to you before they hit the MLS. Or, there's different ways, because you can get the listing and then give them the listing back, plus you can give them some bonuses. But it's something that you have to master. We've been doing all different things to be able to get deals, and most of my deals they come from agents. Maybe I think I just bought one or two from wholesalers because, yeah, like you said, they are not good deals. The numbers just don't make sense. But it's not about the wholesaler. Some, yeah, they got things that don't make any sense at all. But just don't overthink it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cynthia Ware, you have a question for Conrado?
I want to say we really appreciate your wealth of experience, of knowledge, because it is it's a teaching here for us, just to hear your path. Thank you very much for sharing. But I'm a believer. I'm a believer that you learn from making that good money, feeling it, winning, but you also learn at a different level when you lose. So can you share one? Well, first of all, I had another question. What tool do you use, if any, besides just the agents? What tool do you use to look at real estate, to look at, to find your property? And what tool do you use to deal analyze? And then the next question I have is, can you share a little bit on how you tumbled over? This is going south a little bit. This deal's going a little south. You went in there looking at it one way, and it could have been just the character of the person that you engage with. You know, when you go to hold hands with someone in a deal and they're not honest, they're greedy, they don't show you all that at the beginning. They don't show you. You want them to show you, but sometimes they don't, and you find out after you 25% in, can't get out of it, you know. So I just want to say thank you too, also, for your share.
Yeah, well, so on that, I don't know. It's hard to, and I'm gonna see if I can answer that based on what what I thought. So I don't know whether you're under the last question, when you're under contract or when you're already on the project. Because if you're under contract, you can still get out of it. When you're in the project 20%, then there's no way out. So I don't know which one was that.
Well, you in it. You go to sign the contract. Now you guys working the project, and all of a sudden you say, "Oh, this don't look right. Something's going south here." You know, can you balance it? Can you change it?
Well, you can pivot. Yeah, you can pivot, but it's gonna depend on the project. Like, okay, so that's a good question, great question, because I have two projects right now, where the permitting we're gonna take 6 months. The project we're gonna take over a year. When we first got the project, we anticipated only 6 months. So then we got to that point, like, okay, so what do we do now? If we finish this project, we're gonna lose money. Then we pivoted. We knew that the 6 months, it was gonna take 6 months to get the permit. So we decided to get permits for ADU at a square footage. And that, that just jack up the ARV. And we're about, on one of those projects, we're about a month away. The one we're about 2 months. And I think, we're gonna, because we pivoted right on time, we'll make that decision that we were gonna build the ADU. We were gonna spend more money. I think at the end, we're gonna make more money, because I think on each project, we're gonna make about $500,000 because of adding, the square footage, going the longer route. But if we just had stayed with the original square footage, we might have, just break even or lose a little bit. But that is just when you're in the project, depends. Like on this one, because we had the opportunity to build add square footage, and the area supports that. There are some areas where you can, there's no way you can add a square footage, or there's nothing you can do. So then you have to decide at that moment that you can finish the project and you can absorb the loss, just like what I did on my last week. I rehabbed that project. And why did I lose 50, 30? I think it was between 30 and 50K, is because I over rehab it. I built a tech that I shouldn't. I knew from day one, but I just wanted to do it and make it really nice. And because my budget for that was only 60K, I ended up spending about 90. So I should have cut the rehab budget from day one, but I decided to go that route. So it's just decisions that you have to make when you're there. If the same situation was when you're on the contract, you have to decide. If you're on non-contingency, you remove all your contingency, inspection period, you have to decide whether you cannot go and continue with the project and lose 50, 30, whatever, or you can decide to just get out of that contract and lose your EMD, which is 5, 10, 15, whatever that is, and just forget about it.
Okay, thank you.
So that's a decision that you have to make, on that, and don't, you're not gonna lose a sleep over it.
Justin, you're on with Conrado. Wow, you got a question for him?
Yeah. So first of all, Conrado, thank you very much for being here and sharing all this with us. My first question is, are you a visionary or are you an integrator, or are you both? And I know when we all first start, we wear all the hats in the business, and you have to do all of the things until you start getting some momentum and you're able to bring people into the business to help you structure it, help you, build a viable business. But what did you do? So what did you have, did your wife help you with your systems, your integration and building all of your systems? Or is that something you just kind of did over time by yourself, and then you brought someone in to help with that? Or how did that go for you?
Yeah, we built that over time, and I'm a visionary. And it's just like I say, you have to hire and fire a lot of people. Sometimes you build a team and you feel like everything is going right, and things just go south. People leave, or they start. Sometimes it happens to me many times. Where I have people that I trust, and then the next day they're like, "I'm leaving," because I was offered more money or whatever. And what can I say? So it's just a battle that we have every day. Not every day, but just the same. When I say, when we're doing a lot of projects, you get good subcontractors, and then they get too busy, and then they just leave the jobs unfinished, and then you have to bring new people on board. But yeah, when we all start, we wear all the hats. I used to go and look at the property. I used to run the ARV, do all that, call the agent, call this. And then, I started teaching my wife, little by little. And she's the one who's been calling, doing all the calling the agents, negotiating the deals. And I oversee, some of the stuff, but yeah, but I want to say it's been over 2 years now. And just by, doing things, failing, then, we do things better.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you for that.
Next one.
Biz, you're on with Conrado Bautista. Do you have a question for him?
Yes. Hi. Thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing. And I think pretty much Justin was touching on what I was going to ask you, which was team building. So I'm actually going to pivot my question, and I'm actually going to ask you, where is your geographical area? Are you only in California? And you mentioned something earlier about not having a lot of projects out where your area is. Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm just mostly focused right now in the Bay Area. Why? Because it's pretty close to where I live, and it's a lot easier to make money, but it's a lot easier to lose money too. Why? Because we can pick up a project and make easy 100K. Easily we can make 100K if things go right. If things goes wrong, we can easily lose 100K. I don't know. I like that because I don't want to go out of state and spend the same time, the same energy to make 20, 30Ks. It's just not worth it for me. Where I can spend the same time here and make minimum 50K in 2 months. Some of the projects, very light. Some of their new builds, some of the full, remodel. Like I say, they take, from 1 year to, 16, 18 months, and we can, profit, between 300 to $500,000.
I'm used to be a year, right?
And it's just because there is the market that I know very well. I know kind of I can say I kind of know every single street. And because, the comps, they change from neighborhoods.
And Biz, I don't know if you caught that. Conrado's in the Bay Area, and he means the San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area of Northern California. And I think, there was a question I think you asked as far as why are there unfinished projects? I think Conrado touched on that a little bit as well. There's so many investors that don't know what they're doing. They've missed with their estimates or evaluations of what they're doing. So they've gotten in over their heads, and a lot of those guys have just stopped out and they've left projects half done. And I think, Conrado, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't those some of the reasons why some of those projects are half done? The people that
Yes,
started them didn't estimate properly?
yeah, some of that and some others, other thing that I see a lot and it's really, sad, that, there are a lot of new investors and they go and find new contractor, and sometimes, the contractor, they can already, some, they're greedy. They can sense or they can smell when they're dealing with an experience, and they will just take them for a ride, jacking up the rehab costs or just running away, with the money. And I see that a lot of, a lot of the time, like they will, and that's why, like I say, when, it helps me a lot because, I was contractor, because I know not to pay people in advance. You pay when the job is completed, so you schedule the payments, but some people, they get, we all get, excited, and, especially when it's our first project, and, we want to make sure that, payment's not an issue. And sometimes you think that, paying people in advance is going to finish the project faster. Sometimes it does. Sometimes, it goes the other way. But, you master that over time with experience.
Yep. Thank you.
But yeah, a lot of newbie, they just, they jack up the ARV and they always lower the rehab budget.
And Conrado, I want to thank you for your time. Your story is amazing. You've come here as a young man. You lost both your parents. You were, an immigrant where you didn't speak the language, and you are the true example of a self-made millionaire. And you've worked hard and you built for your family, built your own company, and you are a true role model for those of us that are, working towards that, following, and, you blaze a path by example. Just by being you are an example. And it's a pleasure to have you on today with us and in the group. And just thank you so much for being here.
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure to share.
Great. So if you guys are watching the video on YouTube right now, please, in the comments, please like Conrado's presentation, like the video. Please put some comments down. Subscribe for Flipside Up with JJ on YouTube. Conrado, do you have a website, or you're on Instagram, Facebook, if people want to reach you?
Yeah, I'm Facebook and Instagram, mostly on Facebook. Okay.
And I've also got my new webpage is jjzizian.com. We've got a new version coming out soon. But join us again. Look for our promos for upcoming speakers. And we'll be on every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific, every Saturday at 1 o'clock Pacific. And please come back and join us. Thank you. Over and out.